My millionaire ex moved in next door, unaware his twins were his neighbors. "Mommy, he looks like me." The 6-year-old's whisper echoed through the hallway as he stared at the stranger moving boxes next door. Storm gray eyes met identical storm gray eyes. The man's face went pale. The woman's world shattered. 7 years of secrets, standing 3 feet apart in a third-floor corridor. Hi, beautiful souls. Welcome to Mr. William Chronicles, where we tell stories about second chances, buried truths, and the courage it takes to rebuild from heartbreak. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button right now. Let me speak a blessing over you today. May you find the strength to speak truths that terrify you, the wisdom to forgive without forgetting the lessons, and the courage to let love return even after it shattered you completely. If you've ever kept a secret that felt heavier than your own body, or if you had to choose between pride and honesty, smash that like button and drop a comment below. This is the story of Maya Winters, a woman who rebuilt her entire life alone, raising twins her ex-husband didn't know existed. This is about Trevor Kane, a billionaire who lost everything that mattered and spent 7 years drowning in regret. And this is about Jonah and Sienna, 2 6-year-olds who proved that some families are worth fighting for, even when fate throws your past right next door. The box of cereal slipped from Maya Winters' hands, scattering Cheerios across her kitchen floor like confetti at a funeral. Through her apartment window, she could see him, Trevor Kane, carrying moving boxes down the third-floor hallway of her building. Her building. The same hallway where her 6-year-old twins, Jonah and Sienna, were currently playing with building blocks. 7 years. 7 years of careful distance, deliberate silence, and reconstructed peace. All of it crumbling because fate had a sick sense of humor. Maya's hands trembled as she gripped the counter. Boston's Jamaica Plain neighborhood was supposed to be safe, a modest corner of the city where billionaire real estate heirs didn't live. Trevor Kane belonged in penthouse suites overlooking the Charles River, not in apartment 3B next to her converted dining room, design studio, and thrift store furniture. But there he was, older now, broader through the shoulders, that same intense gaze that once traced every curve of her body like she was architecture worth studying. The afternoon sun caught the gray threading through his dark hair, new since their divorce. The divorce she'd filed. The marriage she'd walked away from when choosing her became too complicated for him. Maya moved toward her front door, heart hammering against her ribs. She needed to get the twins inside before. Too late. Through her peephole, she watched her children approach the handsome stranger. Jonah, always the braver twin, was already speaking. Sienna hung back slightly, clutching her favorite stuffed elephant, but her curiosity won. Both children stared up at Trevor with a kind of innocent fascination that made Maya's chest constrict. She couldn't hear their words, but she saw Trevor's face transform, that genuine smile he reserved for authentic moments, not boardroom negotiations. He set down his boxes and crouched to their eye level. He was talking to them, laughing with them. And Jonah, Jonah with his storm gray eyes, the exact shade of his father's, was pointing at Trevor's face with the brutal honesty only 6-year-olds possessed. Maya yanked open her door, forcing casual into her voice. "Hey, you two, come inside. Let our new neighbor get settled." 3 pairs of eyes turned toward her. Trevor's face drained of color. The box in his hands actually slipped, catching on his knee before crashing to the floor. For a moment suspended in amber, they simply stared at each other across 7 years of silence. "Mommy," Sienna called, already running toward her. "We met the new man. His name is Trevor, and he's really nice," and he said. "Mommy, he looks like me," Jonah interrupted, his voice carrying that loud whisper children think is private. He pointed between his own face and Trevor's, brow furrowed in confusion. "See? Same eyes. How come?" Maya's throat closed. She felt Trevor's gaze burning into her, saw the exact moment recognition fully landed in his expression. The shock, the confusion, and beneath it, something she couldn't let herself read. "That's," Maya's voice cracked. She cleared it, tried again. "That's just coincidence, baby. Some people look similar. Now inside, both of you. We need to start dinner." "But Mom," Jonah protested. "Inside. Now." The sharpness in her tone made both twins flinch. Guilt twisted in her stomach, but she couldn't handle this. Not here. Not now. Not with her children standing between them like living, breathing evidence of everything unsaid. Trevor found his voice. Maya. Just her name. The way he said it, rough, disbelieving, carried 7 years of questions. She met his eyes for one scorching second, saw her own panic reflected back. Then she gently pushed her children through the doorway and closed the door between them, leaning against it like it could hold back the past. Through the wood, she heard nothing. No footsteps walking away. No sounds of unpacking. Just silence that felt like held breath. In her kitchen, the pot she'd forgotten about boiled over, hissing steam and fury. Maya pressed her palms against her eyes, willing herself not to break. She'd built this life from nothing. This small, safe world where she was enough. Where her children were loved and protected and blissfully unaware that their father was a billionaire who never knew they existed. Jonah tugged on her shirt. Mommy, why are you crying? I'm not, baby. She wiped her cheeks quickly, forced a smile that felt like shattered glass. Just tired. Why don't you and Sienna wash up? Dinner will be ready soon. As they scampered off, Maya returned to the door, pressing her ear against it. She heard movement now, boxes being picked up, footsteps retreating. The distinct sound of a door closing next door. He was staying. Trevor Kane, the man she'd loved with volcanic intensity. The man who'd chosen his mother's approval over their marriage. The father of her children, who had no idea those children existed. Living. Next. Door. Maya slid down to the floor, back against the door, and let herself shake. She'd spent 6 years making impossible choices to protect her twins. 6 years of birthday parties Trevor never attended. First days of school he never photographed. Fever-soaked midnight hours he never helped shoulder. And now fate had dropped him into her daily life, 20 feet away through drywall and silence. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Was that really you? Her fingers hovered over the screen. 6 years of justifications crowding her throat. She typed, yes. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. We need to talk. Maya closed her eyes, knowing everything was about to change. Feeling the weight of secrets crushing the air from her lungs. Can you imagine carrying a secret this heavy? 7 years of silence. And now fate just moved your past right next door. If you're already hooked to this story, I would love you to show some love. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. This is Mr. William Chronicles, where we tell stories about second chances and buried truths. Drop a like if you're feeling the tension and comment below. Would you tell your ex about the kids or keep the secret? What happens next will change everything. Maya didn't sleep that night. Instead, she lay in her bed, staring at the ceiling while memories she'd buried clawed their way to the surface. Through the thin walls separating their apartments, she could hear Trevor moving, unpacking, probably, just as restless as she was. 7 years melted away, pulling her back to the beginning. Back to when Trevor Kane was just a name on a donor list at a charity auction in downtown Boston. She'd been 25, fresh from design school, broke but ambitious. Her portfolio pieces were being auctioned to raise money for arts education. Modest work compared to the expensive paintings and sculptures surrounding them. She hadn't expected anyone important to notice. Then he'd appeared beside her. 28, devastatingly handsome in a tailored suit that probably cost more than her rent. But it wasn't his looks that caught her. It was the way he studied her design mock-ups with genuine interest, not the performative appreciation wealthy people often displayed at charity events. You see buildings as living spaces, he'd said, tracing a finger near her sketches without touching them. Not just structures. That's rare. You see that from a few drawings? Maya had challenged, unimpressed by his expensive watch and easy confidence. His smile had been dangerous. I'm in real estate development. I see a lot of designs. Most are soulless. Yours aren't. That conversation stretched through the entire evening. They'd abandoned the auction, slipped away to a quiet bar in Back Bay, talked until the bartender kicked them out at closing. Trevor spoke about the pressure of living up to his father's empire, the suffocation of family expectations. Maya shared her dreams of creating spaces that felt like home, not showpieces. At 3 in the morning, standing on an empty street corner, he'd kissed her. It wasn't gentle or tentative, it was hungry, inevitable, like they'd been building toward that moment since the universe began. Maya had fisted her hands in his expensive shirt and kissed him back like he was oxygen. The next 6 months blurred together in a fevered dream of passion and discovery. Late nights at his downtown loft, where he'd press her against windows overlooking the glittering city, his mouth hot against her neck, whispering that she was the only real thing in his manufactured world. Weekends at her cramped apartment where she'd sketch designs while he cooked pasta, both of them pretending wealth and class didn't exist outside those four walls. He'd traced invisible patterns on her bare skin in the darkness after making love, promising to build her a studio in every property he developed. She'd pull him away from midnight conference calls, remind him that balance sheets couldn't hold you at night, that life lived in moments, not margins. Their wedding happened fast, a small ceremony in the Berkshires, barefoot in autumn leaves with only a handful of friends. No society photographers, no Kane family patriarch looming over vows. Just them, promising forever beneath a canopy of gold and crimson. "I choose you," Trevor had whispered, sliding the ring onto her finger. "Over everything. Always." Maya had believed him. God, how she believed him. For 18 months, they existed in their own universe. She'd started her design firm from their penthouse, and he'd actually kept his promise, featuring her work in 3 of his developments. They'd christened every room of their home with desperate, breathless lovemaking. Kitchen counters at dawn. The shower before important meetings. Once, memorably, against his office desk after everyone had gone home. Trevor knew her body like sacred geography. Every sound that meant more, every touch that made her shatter. He'd worship her with his hands and mouth until she forgot her own name, then hold her after like she was porcelain and steel combined. But paradise doesn't survive in oxygen-thin air. The cracks started small. Victoria Kane's conspicuous absence from their wedding. The society pages speculating about the mismatched marriage. Trevor's increasing time at the office, proving himself worthy of the Kane legacy. The way he'd tense whenever his mother called. Maya tried to be understanding. She attended family dinners where Victoria's smile never reached her eyes, where every conversation felt like a test she was designed to fail. She bit her tongue when Trevor's business associates asked what she did, the question dripping with condescension. She endured because she loved him. Because late at night, when the world disappeared and it was just them tangled in sheets, Trevor would press his forehead to hers and breathe. "You're my home. You know that, right?" She'd believe that too. Until the night Victoria Kane cornered her at the Piedmont Club with a post-nuptial agreement and a smile sharp enough to draw blood. Until Trevor asked her to sign it just to keep peace. Until Maya realized the man who'd promised to choose her over everything was asking her to prove she wasn't a gold digger to placate his mother. That was when paradise burned. The Piedmont Club glittered like a diamond cage. Maya had worn her best dress, a simple black number that cost half her monthly income, and still felt like an imposter among women dripping in jewels worth more than her childhood home. Victoria Kane found her on the balcony, escaping the suffocating weight of judging eyes. "Maya, dear." Victoria's voice was silk wrapped around a blade. "We should talk." The envelope appeared like a magic trick. Thick, expensive paper. Legal documents inside that Maya's trembling hands could barely hold. "It's a post-nuptial agreement," Victoria explained, her tone suggesting she was offering a gift, not an insult. "Simply a formality to protect the family's assets. If you truly love my son, if this marriage is genuine, you'll have no problem signing." Maya's vision blurred. "You think I married Trevor for money? I think you're a smart girl who saw an opportunity." Victoria's smile never wavered. "Sign this, prove me wrong. Refuse, and we'll all know the truth, won't we?" The words on the page swam together. Legal jargon that boiled down to one message. "You're not one of us. You never will be." Maya found Trevor inside, his face pale. He already knew. "We need to leave," she said quietly. The car ride home was silent thunder. The real storm waited in their penthouse, where rain lashed the windows and lightning illuminated their unraveling. "Just sign it," Trevor said, pacing their living room like a caged animal. "It doesn't mean anything. It's just to put my mother at ease." "Just sign away my dignity?" Maya's voice shook. "Just prove I'm not a gold digger? Just validate your mother's belief that I'm not worthy? That's not what this is." "Then what is it, Trevor?" She threw the envelope at him. Papers scattered like broken promises. "You're asking me to sign a document that says if our marriage fails, I was never really your equal. That everything we built together was just me clinging to your money." He ran both hands through his hair. That gesture she knew meant he was overwhelmed. "You're making this bigger than it is. If you don't sign, my mother will make our lives hell. She'll fight us on everything. The business, family gatherings, she'll—" "I gave up everything to be with you." Maya's voice cracked, tears streaming now. "My friends warned me. My mother said your world would never accept me. I ignored them because you promised that we were a team, that you'd stand beside me. I am standing beside you." "No." The word came out broken. "You're asking me to kneel. There's a difference." Trevor reached for her, desperation in his eyes. "I'm trying to protect us. This will make her back off. We can have peace, Maya. Isn't that worth it?" "At what cost?" She pulled away from his touch. "You're asking me to apologize for existing in your world, and the fact that you think we have to negotiate with your mother at all." She laughed bitterly. "Maybe she's right. Maybe I don't belong here." "Don't say that." "Why not? You're thinking it." Maya wiped her face roughly. "Every time you choose her comfort over my dignity, you're saying it without words." Thunder cracked overhead. Trevor looked at her with such anguish that for a moment, she almost relented. "Almost." "I need time," he said finally. "Just, let's take a break. A temporary separation until things cool down. We can prove to everyone." "A separation?" Maya's voice went flat. "You want a separation? Just temporary. There's no such thing." She turned away, staring at the city lights below. "You want to prove our love is real by not being together? Do you hear yourself?" That night, Maya slept in the guest room. Or didn't sleep, just stared at the ceiling, making impossible calculations. How much of yourself could you sacrifice before nothing remained? By morning, she had her answer. She packed one suitcase, left the keys, the ring, and divorce papers on the kitchen counter, walked away from the penthouse and the man who couldn't choose her when it mattered most. 3 weeks later, staring at a positive pregnancy test in her friend Camille's bathroom, Maya made another choice that would haunt her: silence. Trevor had failed to fight for her. Why would he fight for children he didn't know existed? What Maya didn't know, what she couldn't have known in her pain, was that Trevor had searched. For 3 months, he'd called her phone until the number disconnected. He'd driven to her parents' house in Worcester only to find they'd moved and left no forwarding address. He'd hired a private investigator who found nothing but dead ends. Every lead evaporated like smoke. It was as if Maya Winters had been erased from existence. Eventually, broken and defeated, Trevor had stopped searching. But he'd never stopped missing her. Never stopped regretting that he hadn't fought harder when it mattered, when she was still standing in front of him, giving him one last chance to choose her. If you've made it this far in the story, you're invested, and I appreciate you. Show some love by hitting that like button and subscribing to Mr. William Chronicles. Trust me, what's coming next will have you on the edge of your seat. Drop a comment. Do you think Maya was right to keep the secret, or should she have told Trevor about the pregnancy? Let's talk about it. The morning after Trevor's text, Maya found herself hyper-aware of every sound through the shared wall. His shower running at 6 a.m., his footsteps crossing the apartment, the coffee maker gurgling to life. 7 years of distance collapsed into inches of drywall and unbearable proximity. She told herself she could handle this. She'd handled single motherhood, building a business from nothing, midnight fevers, and scraped knees and tax returns. One ex-husband next door wouldn't break her. Except Trevor wasn't making it easy. 3 days in, Maya's mailbox jammed again. The building's ancient metal boxes were temperamental at best. She was wrestling with her key, twins already whining about being hungry, when Trevor appeared. Here. He didn't ask permission, just applied the exact pressure point that released the mechanism. The box popped open. Trick is to pull while you turn. Buildings older than both of us combined. His sleeve was rolled up. Maya caught herself staring at his forearm, still strong, scattered with faint scars she didn't remember. She wondered what stories they told. "Thanks," she managed, grabbing her mail like it might escape. "Anytime, neighbor." That half-smile. Dangerous. It became a pattern. He'd appear when her grocery bag split in the parking lot, scooping up rolling oranges before they escaped under cars. He'd hold the building door when her hands were full of the twins' school projects. Small kindnesses that felt like landmines. The kids adored him. Jonah asked about Mr. Trevor constantly. Sienna drew him pictures that Maya found crumpled in her daughter's backpack, stick figures of 4 people holding hands. Maya's carefully constructed walls developed cracks. Then came the morning her ancient Honda refused to start. No, no, no. Maya turned the key again. The engine clicked pathetically. In the back seat, Jonah and Sienna were already buckled in, lunchboxes packed. First bell in 20 minutes. "Mom." Sienna's worried voice. "Are we going to be late?" Before Maya could answer, Trevor appeared beside her window. She startled, hand to chest. He gestured for her to pop the hood. She hesitated, pride warring with practicality, then pulled the release. Through the windshield, she watched him examine her engine. He'd shed his suit jacket, hung it on her side mirror, his dress shirt pulled across his shoulders as he leaned in. Maya remembered those shoulders, remembered gripping them while he moved inside her, both of them gasping in the darkness of their old bedroom. She forced the memory away, but her body remembered. Heat pooled low in her belly. Trevor straightened, wiping his hands on a handkerchief from his pocket. Tapped her window. Maya rolled it down. "Well, battery cable's loose. Try it now." The engine roared to life. In the back seat, the twins cheered. "Thank you," Maya said, meaning it despite everything. "Really? Let me drive them." Trevor crouched beside her door, bringing them eye level. "You got that client meeting downtown at 9, right? I saw your calendar on your counter the other day when I helped with groceries. School's on my way to the office." As Trevor waited for her answer, his mind was already calculating. He'd noticed things that kept him awake at night. Jonah's eyes weren't just blue. They were the exact shade of storm gray his mother always said made the Kane men distinctive. Sienna had a dimple in her left cheek that appeared when she smiled, identical to the one he saw in his own mirror. And the math, God, the math haunted him. 6-year-olds. He and Maya had divorced 7 years ago. The timing fit perfectly. Too perfectly. But surely she would have told him. Surely she wouldn't have kept something that monumental a secret. Would she? "I can take them, you can get to your meeting on time." How did he remember her meeting? Why did he notice her calendar? And why did the offer make her chest tight? "I can't ask you to." "You're not asking. I'm offering." His eyes held hers. "Let me help, Maya." The way he said her name, like a prayer, like coming home. "Please, Mom." Jonah piped up. "Mr. Trevor's car is so cool." Sienna nodded enthusiastically. "And he already knows where our school is 'cause we told him." Maya looked at Trevor, really looked at him. Saw sincerity in his expression. Saw the gentle way he glanced at her children. Saw something else, too. Something that looked like longing. "Okay," she heard herself say. "Thank you." Watching him buckle her children into his pristine Tesla, Jonah chattering about Pokemon, Sienna showing him her stuffed elephant, Maya felt the earth shift beneath her feet. That Saturday, she invited him to the Franklin Park Zoo, called it a thank you for his help, told herself it was just neighborly, lied to herself completely. The zoo was crowded with families. Maya watched Trevor hoist Jonah onto his shoulders so the boy could see over the crowd at the lion enclosure. Watched Sienna slip her small hand into Trevor's free one without hesitation, trusting completely. Their siblings, A woman beside Maya commented, smiling. Your husband's really good with them. Maya didn't correct her. At the elephant habitat, Sienna squealed when a baby elephant splashed in its pool. Trevor laughed, genuine, unguarded, and caught Maya's eye over the children's heads. The look that passed between them carried 7 years of what-ifs. During the Sea Lion show, Sienna linked all 4 of their hands together in a chain. We're connected, she announced proudly. Trevor's hand was warm in Maya's. Familiar. His thumb brushed her knuckles, accident or intention, and electricity shot up her arm. We're family, Sienna whispered, squeezing both their hands. Maya's throat closed. Across the children's heads, Trevor's storm gray eyes found hers. The hunger in his gaze wasn't just nostalgia. It was need. Recognition. Question. Does he suspect? Maya wondered. Can he see the truth written in Jonah's eyes? Sienna's smile? Trevor's expression said, I'm starting to. In the gift shop, while the twins debated between stuffed animals, Trevor watched Jonah's reflection in a display case mirror. The resemblance was undeniable now that he was looking for it. Same nose. Same way of furrowing his brow when thinking. Same restless energy Trevor's father always complained about. Trevor's hands trembled slightly as he paid for both children's toys, his mind screaming questions he wasn't ready to ask out loud. But tonight he would demand answers. Because if these children were his, if Maya had hidden them from him for 6 years, then everything, their entire history, needed to be rewritten. As they walked back to the parking lot, twins running ahead to the gift shop, Trevor caught Maya's elbow gently. She stopped, turned. Maya, he said quietly, we need to talk. Really talk. About everything. Her pulse thundered. I know. When? She looked at her children, their children, laughing together over a stuffed sea lion. Soon. I promise. That night, Maya lay in bed, Trevor's cologne still faint on her clothes from when Jonah had hugged them both simultaneously. Through the wall, she heard nothing. Just the weight of everything, unsaid, pressing down like storm clouds. Her phone glowed in the darkness. Today was perfect. Thank you for including me. She typed back. The kids loved it. What about their mother? Maya stared at those words for a long time before answering. She's terrified. Of what? Everything. Maya's hands shook as she typed the text. We need to talk. Tonight. After the twins are asleep. Trevor's response came within seconds. I'll be there. She spent the evening on autopilot, dinner with the twins, bath time, bedtime stories. Jonah asked why she seemed sad. Sienna wanted to know if Trevor could come to breakfast tomorrow. Each innocent question was a small knife to her heart. By 8:30, both children were asleep. Maya changed clothes 3 times before settling on jeans and a sweater, armor disguised as casual. She paced her living room, rehearsing words that felt inadequate. How do you tell a man he's been a father for 6 years without knowing it? The knock came at exactly 9 o'clock. Trevor stood in her doorway, holding River's jacket, the one left in his car at the zoo. But his eyes held something darker than neighborly courtesy. They held certainty. Come in, Maya whispered, stepping aside. Trevor entered slowly, his gaze sweeping the apartment like he was gathering evidence. He paused at the framed photo on her shelf. The twins as toddlers, ice cream-smeared faces grinning at the camera. He picked it up with trembling hands. How old were they here? His voice was rough. 2. And now they're 6. Yes. Trevor set the frame down carefully, like it might shatter. He turned to face her, and Maya saw the terrible knowledge already living in his expression. I've been doing math all week, Maya. 7 years since our divorce. 6-year-old twins. Jonah has my eyes, not just blue, but that exact shade of gray. Sienna has the Kane family dimple. The way Jonah furrows his brow when he's thinking. The way Sienna tilts her head, his voice cracked. Tell me I'm wrong. Please, God, tell me I'm crazy. Maya's eyes filled with tears. She couldn't speak, could only shake her head. Tell me. Trevor's anguish filled the room. Tell me those children aren't mine. I can't. The words broke free like a dam bursting. They're yours, Trevor. Jonah and Sienna are your children. I found out I was pregnant 3 weeks after I left. I should have told you. But her voice fractured completely. Trevor staggered backward, hand over his mouth. For a moment he just stood there, chest heaving, eyes glistening. Then he turned away, both hands in his hair, and Maya heard a sound escape him that was half sob, half growl. 6 years, he whispered to the wall. I had children for 6 years and didn't know. Their first words, first steps, first days of school, birthdays, Christmas mornings. 6 years of their lives just gone. You took that from me. The accusation landed like a physical blow. Maya wrapped her arms around herself. You lost that right when you chose your mother over me. Trevor spun around, pain transforming into anger. I tried to find you. For months, Maya. I called until your number disconnected. I drove to your parents' house. They'd moved with no forwarding address. I hired a private investigator who found nothing. You vanished. You made yourself impossible to find. Then you're angry I didn't find you. You suggested a separation. Maya's own anger rose to meet his. You wanted to prove our love by not being together. You asked me to sign a document that said I was a gold digger unless proven otherwise. You chose keeping peace with Victoria over keeping me. I was 28 and terrified. Trevor's voice broke. I was trying to navigate an impossible situation. Yes, I failed you. I know that. I've lived with that knowledge every single day for 7 years. But Maya, he stepped closer, tears streaming freely now. You should have told me about the pregnancy. That wasn't your decision to make alone. Those are my children too. Are they? The words came out bitter. You have to be there to be a father, Trevor. You have to show up. You have to fight. And you didn't fight for me when it mattered. Because you didn't give me the chance. His voice rose, then immediately lowered, remembering the sleeping children. You left divorce papers and disappeared. What was I supposed to do? You made your choice clear. And you made yours at that gala. Maya's tears flowed freely. The moment you asked me to sign that post-nuptial agreement, you told me everything I needed to know. That your mother's comfort mattered more than my dignity. That I had to constantly prove I wasn't after your money. That I would never really be your equal. Trevor's face crumpled. You're right. You're absolutely right. I failed you in every way that mattered. He sank onto her couch, head in his hands. I was a coward. I let my mother's poison infect us. I chose the path of least resistance instead of fighting for the woman I loved. And I've regretted it every single day since. The raw honesty in his voice stopped Maya's anger cold. She watched him break, this man who'd once seemed invincible, and felt her own walls cracking. Do you have any idea what it's been like? Trevor looked up at her, face wet with tears. 7 years of wondering where you were. If you were happy. If you'd found someone else. 7 years of lying awake, wishing I could go back and choose differently. And now I find out I missed everything. I wasn't there when you needed me most, when you were pregnant and alone. I wasn't there for their births, wasn't there for any of it. I can't get that time back, Maya. It's just gone. Maya felt her anger dissolving into shared grief. She moved to the couch, sitting beside him but not touching. I was scared, she admitted softly. When I found out I was pregnant, I was terrified. Part of me wanted to call you so badly. But every time I reached for the phone, I remembered how you'd let me go. How you'd suggested we separate instead of fighting for us. And I thought, if he didn't fight to keep me, why would he fight for babies he didn't know existed? I would have fought. Trevor turned to her, intensity burning through his tears. Maya, if I'd known, if I'd had even the slightest idea, nothing would have kept me away. Not my pride, not my mother, not the entire Kane empire. I would have been at your door the same day. I know that now, Maya whispered. Watching you with them this week, seeing how naturally you connect with them, I know you would have been there. And I'm sorry. I'm so sorry I kept them from you. Trevor reached out hesitantly, his hand hovering near her face. When she didn't pull away, he gently wiped a tear from her cheek with his thumb. The tenderness of the gesture undid something in Maya's chest. I never stopped loving you, Trevor confessed, his voice raw and honest. I tried. God knows I tried. I threw myself into work, built the business into something even my father couldn't criticize. But late at night, I'd see you everywhere. In the city lights, in sketches of buildings, in every woman's laugh that wasn't quite yours. You were the only real thing in my manufactured life, and I let you go. I never stopped either, Maya breathed, the admission both terrifying and freeing. I told myself I hated you, that I'd moved on. But every time Jonah did something that reminded me of you, every time Sienna smiled with your dimple, I'd remember what we had, what we lost, what I kept from you. Trevor's hand slid to cup her face. We were both broken, both made mistakes. But Maya, we made two beautiful children together. That has to mean something. That has to be worth fighting for. I'm scared, she admitted, leaning into his touch despite herself. I'm scared you'll take them from me. I'm scared your mother will try to destroy us again. I'm scared. I'm scared too. Trevor's forehead pressed against hers. I'm scared I've missed too much. That they won't want me as their father. That you'll never trust me again. But I want to try. I want to be the man I should have been 7 years ago. The man who chooses you, chooses our family, over everything else. Maya's breath hitched. Trevor. I love you, he said fiercely. I never stopped. And I love those children in there, even though I've only known them as mine for 10 minutes. I love them because they're half you and half me, the best of both of us. Please, please give me a chance to make this right. The distance between them evaporated. Maya wasn't sure who moved first. Maybe they both did, drawn together by gravity and need and 7 years of unresolved longing. Their lips met in a kiss that tasted like tears and apologies and desperate hope. Trevor's hands tangled in her hair, pulling her closer. Maya gripped his shirt like an anchor, kissing him back with all the love and anger and grief she'd buried. This wasn't the gentle kiss of their early romance. This was raw, hungry, healing. The kind of kiss that acknowledged pain while reaching for something better. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Trevor rested his forehead against hers. Stay with me tonight, he whispered. Let me hold you. Let me prove I'm not going anywhere this time. Maya pulled back to look at him, really look at him. Saw the man he'd become, the regret he carried, the fierce determination in his eyes. 7 years ago, he'd let her walk away. But the man sitting before her now looked ready to burn the world down rather than lose her again. Okay, she breathed. Trevor stood, pulling her to her feet. He kissed her again, slower this time, worshipful. His hands traced her body with reverent familiarity, remembering curves and places that made her gasp. Maya's fingers worked at the buttons of his shirt, needing skin contact, needing to confirm this was real. They made it to her bedroom, leaving a trail of clothing. In the darkness, Trevor laid her down gently, covering her body with his. I missed you, he whispered against her neck. Every day, every night. Show me, Maya breathed. And he did. His hands and mouth relearned her body like sacred territory, finding every place that made her arch and gasp his name. When he finally moved inside her, it felt like coming home, familiar yet new, achingly right. They moved together with desperate tenderness. 7 years of longing compressed into whispered names and trembling hands. Afterward, tangled in her sheets with her head on his chest, Maya listened to Trevor's heartbeat steady beneath her ear. His fingers traced lazy patterns on her bare shoulder, the same patterns he used to draw 7 years ago. I'm not going anywhere, he murmured into her hair. Tomorrow, we tell the twins together. Next week, I'm telling my mother that if she can't respect you and our children, she's not part of our lives. I choose you, Maya. I choose our family. This time, I promise, I choose you over everything. Maya closed her eyes, letting herself believe, letting herself hope. Through the wall, she heard nothing but possibility. If you're still with me at this point in the story, you're truly invested, and that means the world. Show some love by smashing that like button and subscribing to Mr. William Chronicles if you haven't already. We're building a community of people who believe in second chances and real love. Drop a comment. Do you think Trevor will keep his promise this time, or will his mother come between them again? Let me know your thoughts. Morning light filtered through Maya's curtains, painting gold stripes across tangled sheets. Trevor's arm was heavy around her waist, his breathing deep and even against her neck. For a moment, Maya let herself exist in the peaceful before explanations, before the weight of truth, before everything changed. Then Sienna's voice pierced the quiet. "Mommy, we're hungry." Maya's eyes flew open. Trevor stirred, pressing a kiss to her shoulder before reality crashed in. He was in her bed. The twins were awake. And today, they would tell their children that the nice man from next door was actually their father. "I should go," Trevor whispered, already reaching for his scattered clothes. "No." Maya caught his hand. "Stay. We do this together. That's what you promised, right?" His expression softened into something that looked like gratitude and love combined. Together. They dressed quickly, Trevor in yesterday's wrinkled shirt, Maya in jeans and her favorite sweater. In the bathroom mirror, she looked different somehow. Lighter. Like she'd set down a weight she'd carried for 6 years. The kitchen became their stage. Maya pulled out ingredients for pancakes, the twins' favorite, while Trevor squeezed fresh orange juice. He found her apron hanging by the stove and tied it on without asking. The domestic gesture so natural it made her chest ache. When Jonah and Sienna tumbled into the kitchen in their matching dinosaur pajamas, they stopped short at the unexpected sight. "Trevor's here." Sienna squealed, launching herself at him. He caught her easily, lifting her up. "Good morning, sunshine. Hope you're hungry." Jonah climbed onto a kitchen chair, eyes bright with curiosity. "Are you having breakfast with us? Do you like pancakes? Mom makes the best pancakes. She puts chocolate chips in them sometimes." "I love pancakes," Trevor said, voice thick with emotion. "And I'm hoping to have breakfast with you lots more from now on." Maya flipped pancakes with trembling hands, hyper-aware of Trevor's presence beside her, of their children watching this strange new dynamic. She plated the food, chocolate chip pancakes for Jonah, plain for Sienna, who'd recently decided she only liked regular things, and carried them to the table. Trevor poured juice into plastic cups decorated with cartoon characters. He knew which cup was whose without asking. Sienna's purple with stars, Jonah's blue with rockets. He'd been paying attention all week. They ate in companionable chaos, the twins chattering about a YouTube video they'd watched about their friend's birthday party next weekend, about whether dolphins or whales were cooler. Normal. Beautifully, perfectly normal. Until Maya set down her fork and caught Trevor's eye. He nodded slightly. "Now, sweethearts," Maya began, her voice only slightly unsteady. "Trevor and I need to talk to you about something important." Both children looked up, suddenly serious. Jonah's storm-gray eyes, so like his father's, narrowed with concern. "Are you in trouble?" "No, baby. Nothing like that." Maya reached across the table, taking each small hand in hers. "Do you remember how I told you that your daddy, that he wasn't able to be with us?" Sienna nodded slowly. "You said he didn't know about us." Maya's throat tightened. Even at 6, her daughter understood more than she'd given her credit for. "That's right. He didn't know. But that wasn't because he didn't want to. It was because—" She looked at Trevor helplessly. He moved his chair closer to the twins, kneeling so he was at their eye level. His hands were shaking. "It was because your mom and I had some problems a long time ago. We loved each other very much, but sometimes grown-ups make mistakes. We stopped being together before your mom knew she was going to have you." Jonah's brow furrowed in that way that was pure Trevor. "So, you didn't know about us?" "I didn't know," Trevor confirmed, his voice breaking. "And I wish so much that I had known. Because if I had, I would have been there for every single moment. Your births, your first words, your first steps, everything." Sienna looked between them, her 6-year-old mind working to piece together what the adults were dancing around. Are you our daddy?" The question hung in the air like a prayer. Trevor's eyes filled with tears. "Yes. Yes, sweetheart. I'm your father. Your dad. And I know I haven't been here before, but I want to be here now. If you'll let me." For a heartbeat, nothing. The twins stared at Trevor like they were seeing him for the first time. Then Jonah whispered, That's why we have the same eyes. Yeah, Trevor breathed. That's why. And why Sienna has that dimple thing like you, Jonah continued, warming to the revelation. Exactly. Sienna's face transformed, confusion giving way to understanding, understanding blooming into pure, uncomplicated joy. Really? You're really our daddy? Really? She launched herself from her chair into Trevor's arms with enough force to nearly knock him over. I always wanted a daddy. Mommy, he's been here the whole time and we didn't even know. Jonah was slower, more cautious. He slid from his chair and approached Trevor carefully. You're not going to leave again, are you? The question shattered something in Trevor's chest. He opened one arm, keeping the other around Sienna. Never. I promise you, Jonah. I'm not going anywhere. I missed 6 years of your lives, and I can't get that time back. But I'm here now, and I'm staying. Forever. You're stuck with me. Jonah studied him for another moment, such a serious little face, then nodded once and stepped into the embrace. Trevor closed his arms around both children, burying his face in their hair, shoulders shaking with silent sobs. Maya pressed her hand to her mouth, tears streaming freely. This was what she denied them all. This moment of completion, of family, of belonging. Daddy, Sienna said, testing the word. Then louder, Daddy. I'm here, baby girl. I'm right here. Can you come to my school for show and tell? Trevor laughed through his tears. Absolutely. Jonah pulled back slightly. Do you know how to play Minecraft? I don't, but I'd love to learn. I can teach you. I'm really good at it. I bet you are. They peppered him with questions then, rapid fire, 6-year-old curiosity unleashed. Where did he live? Next door. Could they see his apartment? Anytime. Did he have any pets? No, but maybe they could get one together. What was his favorite color? Favorite food? Could he do a cartwheel? Trevor answered each question with infinite patience, occasionally catching Maya's eye over the children's heads. The look they shared said everything. We did this. Together we made these beautiful, perfect humans. After breakfast, the twins insisted Trevor come to the park. The same instinct Maya had feared, their instant connection to him, now felt like grace. Like the universe correcting its own mistake. At Boston Common, they spread a blanket under ancient oak trees. The late September sun was warm, leaves just beginning their transformation to autumn gold. Families surrounded them, normal Sunday morning domesticity that they were finally part of. Jonah wanted to play catch. Trevor produced a baseball from his pocket, always prepared, he winked at Maya. And they threw it back and forth while Sienna organized her collection of fallen leaves by color. Maya watched Trevor teach Jonah how to throw properly, adjusting his son's grip, demonstrating follow-through. Watched him praise each successful catch with genuine enthusiasm. Watched him become, in real time, the father he'd always been meant to be. Mom, Sienna called. Come look at my leaf collection. Maya settled beside her daughter, admiring the careful arrangement of red, orange, and yellow. It's beautiful, baby. I'm making one for Daddy, too. Sienna didn't look up, fully absorbed in her task. The casual way she said Daddy, like the word had always belonged to her, made Maya's eyes sting. Trevor and Jonah jogged over, both slightly breathless. Jonah flopped dramatically onto the blanket. Dad throws really far. Dad. So easy. So natural. Trevor sat beside Maya, close enough that their shoulders touched. His hand found hers, fingers interlacing. In front of God and Boston Common and anyone watching, he claimed them. His family. Look what I made for you. Sienna thrust her leaf arrangement at Trevor. He accepted it like she'd handed him the crown jewels. This is incredible. You're quite an artist. Mom's an artist too. She makes houses pretty. I know. Your mom is talented at everything she does. Trevor's eyes met Maya's over Sienna's head, the look loaded with meaning beyond interior design. As the afternoon stretched golden and perfect, they played a family game of hide-and-seek, watched street performers, bought ice cream from a vendor that left sticky fingerprints on everyone's clothes. Normal family things that felt miraculous because they'd almost never happened. Late afternoon found them back on the blanket, Twins sprawled between their parents in exhausted contentment. Jonah had his head on Trevor's stomach. Sienna curled against Maya's side. Trevor's arm stretched behind Maya, his hand gentle on her shoulder. "This is the best day ever," Sienna mumbled, half asleep. "The best," Jonah agreed. Trevor caught Maya's eye. The gratitude in his expression was overwhelming. "Thank you," he mouthed. "We're just beginning," she mouthed back. As the sun began its descent, painting the common in amber light, Maya looked at her cobbled-together family and felt something shift inside her chest. The fear that had lived there for 6 years, the guilt, the anger. It didn't disappear entirely. Healing wasn't that simple. But it loosened its grip, making room for something else. Hope, trust, love, the kind that survives mistakes and grows back stronger. "What are you thinking?" Trevor asked softly. Maya leaned her head on his shoulder. "That healing takes courage. And you, Maya Winters, are the bravest person I know." He pressed a kiss to her temple. "Thank you for giving me this. For giving us a second chance. I won't waste it." "I know you won't." Jonah stirred, opening one eye. "Can we have pizza for dinner? All of us together." "All of us," Trevor confirmed. "Together. That's how we're doing everything from now on." On the walk back to their apartment building, Sienna insisted on holding both parents' hands, swinging between them. Jonah peppered Trevor with questions about his job, his car, whether he knew any professional athletes. In the building elevator, the twins pressed themselves against Trevor's sides like they'd always belonged there. He looked at Maya over their heads, and the raw emotion in his expression said what they both knew. This was what they'd been missing. This completeness. This rightness. "Tomorrow," Trevor said as they reached Maya's door, "I'm calling my lawyer. I want to formally establish paternity, work out custody arrangements that work for everyone. And I'm calling my mother." Maya's stomach clenched. "Trevor. She needs to know she has grandchildren. And she needs to know that if she can't respect you and our family, she'll have no place in our lives. You and these kids, you're my priority. Not the business, not the family name. You. What if she? Then she loses us." Trevor's voice was steel wrapped in determination. "I mean it, Maya. I've spent 7 years living with the consequences of choosing wrong. I won't make that mistake again." The twins had already run inside, arguing over which movie to watch before dinner. Trevor lingered in the doorway, pulling Maya close. "I love you," he whispered against her hair. "I love our children. I love this messy, complicated, beautiful second chance we've been given. And I'm going to spend the rest of my life proving I deserve it." Maya tilted her face up, kissing him softly. "We both made mistakes. But we're fixing them. Together." "Together," he agreed. That night, after pizza and a movie where both twins fell asleep on the couch, Trevor carried Jonah to bed while Maya carried Sienna. They tucked their children in side by side, a team. In the doorway of the twins' room, Maya paused to watch Trevor adjust Jonah's blanket, kiss Sienna's forehead. Small gestures that held enormous weight. He'd missed so much. But he was here now. And tomorrow, and all the days after. Some love stories don't end with happily ever after. They end with the courage to begin again. With truth finally spoken. With pride set aside, so love can grow. Looking at Trevor, at their sleeping children, at the life they were building from broken pieces, Maya understood. Second chances aren't given. They're fought for, chosen, earned through hard conversations and harder honesty. And sometimes, if you're brave enough, if you're willing to forgive both yourself and each other, second chances become even better than the first. If this story touched your heart, I need you to do something for me. Hit that subscribe button for Mr. William Chronicles. We tell stories about love, family, second chances, and the beautiful mess of being human. Smash that like button if you felt the emotion in Maya and Trevor's journey. And here's what I really want to know. Drop a comment telling me what moment hit you hardest. Was it when the twins found out Trevor was their father? When Maya finally told the truth? That family moment at the park? Your comments fuel these stories, so talk to me. Share this video with someone who needs it. This is Mr. William Chronicles, reminding you that the best love stories are the ones worth fighting for.